Hello. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're back with another stream, just hanging out. Hope everyone is having a good Friday evening. The weekend has begun. Excuse me. What's up? What's up, Abraxas? What's up, Brush? What y'all up to this weekend? I've had a kind of a busy day actually. Hi from England. What's up, Megan from England? It's probably like really late at night in England, isn't it? Or really early in the morning. What's up, my G? Eating a PB&J? I back that. I'm a huge advocate of PB&J. I eat PB&Js all the time, literally. What's up, Adam? Just tried out Skate 4, and it was worse than I could have imagined. I literally just watched a YouTube short about someone complaining about Skate 4. And you have also said it's bad, so I'm 2 for 2 in terms of people not liking it. Cooking, doing some cooking this weekend. I will probably end up doing some cooking as well. Although I have a lot of I did some meal prep, so I have some pre-made meals already. I've already done my cooking, but I'll probably do something else. Cool to catch one of your live streams. Well, I'm glad you made it. Hopefully hopefully it's enjoyable. The streams are always very chill. It's midnight in England. I was thinking it was going to be later than that, but I guess that makes sense. I don't know the time difference, but I guess it's 6 hours. I was never here. Thank you for the $10. BIPOC comic creator just trying to be seen. I mean, respect. I appreciate the donation. I guess if you guys want to check out their comics, you can do that. Uh, what do you think the reason is that you're such a thoughtful person? In the ponderous sense? In the ponderous, what other sense is there? I don't necessarily. It feels a little weird to talk about myself like that, but I think that I was just sort of encouraged to be open-minded growing up and to think. I was never punished for thinking or asking questions as a kid, And honestly, maybe to eventually to the chagrin of my parents, because it kind of led to me being a little bit of a smartass and losing my religion and a lot of stuff that they probably didn't expect. But that's probably part of it. And also, I think I just had a good friend group growing up of people who are similarly like thoughtful and intellectual. So that would be my guess. Skate Story finally coming out at least. Skate 4 aggressively mid. I never played any of the skate games, so I don't know. I don't really know. I played Tony Hawk growing up, but that's about it. I didn't really venture outside into the other games. I know a lot of people liked Skate 3. Sega or SNES kid growing up? Um, I started as a Genesis kid for sure. That's just because I was living with my cousin at the time and he had a Genesis. So that's what I played all the time. And Genesis had a lot of bangers on it, but I think once later I got a Super Nintendo. Like when we moved out, I got a Super Nintendo. Um, I think. But yeah, I was a Genesis kid first for sure. And there's I have a lot. Most of my 16-bit memories are from the Genesis. Um, I distinctly remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think I got it for Christmas, and I was so excited, and I like immediately started playing it. And just Mortal Kombat 2 and Fantasy Star 4, absolute banger that people don't talk about that much anymore. Do you think there's a nature aspect to it too, in addition to the nurture aspect? Is your family tree full of deep thinkers? Um, I don't know if I would say. I mean, I think that my family is generally sort of like intelligent people, but if there is a sort of nature aspect to it, I probably got it from my dad. I think my dad is very thoughtful and sort of methodical and um very like level-headed compared to some other people in my family. So it could come from my dad, but I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, I would think probably the environment had more to do with it than the genetics. But I don't know. I really don't know the answer. As someone who was, it made me so much more of a smartass. As for everything about me, it gets base boosted when I'm told not to do something or to be something. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I was when I was in high school, I was like, it's weird because in middle school, I was kind of shy in middle school. But once I got to high school, I kind of like got to a point where I felt I like acted like my shit didn't stink basically. I thought I was like so smart and like smarter than everybody else. And as you might imagine, that annoyed a lot of people and drove some people away sometimes. And eventually I got over it, I guess. It kind of bled into college a little bit too. But I kind of I guess I was able to direct my you know my what's the word? I don't know, like my penchant for thinking through things and trying to be logical and trying to be correct. I found a more positive way to channel that over time. And honestly, nowadays I don't even value, like, I think I value like being thoughtful and being like, I don't, it's not that I don't value, I just think like the word thoughtful like just means something different to me now than it would have a long time ago. Like, I think critical thinking and stuff like that is important, but also like empathy and just compassion. I feel like I value that a lot more now. Whenever a free game is mid, I can never really complain about it. I mean, that's fair. I think if it's like a highly anticipated game, you might be a little salty about it, or if it's a sequel to a beloved game, which a lot of times when you in a position like that, you never you might never be able to achieve or live up to the hype. But from what I'm hearing about this game, there are some things about it that are just like aggressively off-putting. But yeah, free games are, at the end of the day, if you don't like the game, you just stop playing it. But it kind of sucks when it's a game that you really, really wanted to play. What were your favorite Genesis games? Um, well, I mentioned some of them, just the ones that I remember from the time. Mortal Kombat 2, definitely. I played so much of that game. And Phantasy Star 4, I played a lot of that game. Um, what else did I play on Genesis? I played a lot of the sports games. I can't even remember which ones were good though. My cousin was really into sports games, so he had like basically every sports game on Genesis. And the Genesis, that's one thing the Genesis was way better than Super Nintendo at. Super Nintendo is the sports games. Of course, Sonic the Hedgehog, all those games are good. All of the Genesis ones. It's it was so long ago, it's hard to even remember. I remember playing Mutant League Football. That game was really fun. I think my video game memories are mostly in the PlayStation era. That's kind of what I remember like the most vividly because I was like obsessed with video games at that point. Earth Rester, thank you for the $10. Tacos, hard or soft shell? Okay, well both. But I gotta say, I love a hard taco. I really do. They're kind of a pain in the ass to eat, but man, that crunch. If you have like a crispy, crunchy shell, I'm a big fan of that. How do you feel when you're just sitting with yourself and not doing any particular activity? How do you feel? Um, I don't know. It's rare that that ever happens. This is kind of, and it's kind of sad. It's not good, but you know, it's like people, because we have devices, we're almost never not doing anything. There's always something to do because you can always pull out your phone and like scroll YouTube shorts or something. So I don't even remember the last time I was sitting with myself and not doing a particular activity, but I I'm trying to get better at that. I would like to, cuz I was thinking about this recently about how I'm just like always just like on social media, and it's like, and I don't like it, but I'm always there. Like I might just start like go going to take walks in the woods or something. Just do something other than watch YouTube or scroll through like Blue Sky or whatever. You're very soft spoken within your videos and streams. Are you always like that? Um, yeah, I guess. I always wonder if I'm perceived as soft spoken in my videos because I'm definitely more animated in my videos than I am in real life. You know, you got to perform a little bit. But yeah, I think that most people would say that I'm a more soft spoken person. But you know, if I'm around my friends, I probably am more. I probably have more energy. And if I'm doing, you know, in certain situations, like if I'm running my D&D game, you got to put on energy sometimes for, you know, the voices. Um, Also, if I'm like drunk or something, then I'm probably not soft spoken. But yeah, I think that also just goes back to, I think, just the way I was raised. My dad was very soft spoken and chill, and I think that's one of my, I like that about myself, that I'm a very calm and chill person. Do you believe thought leads to truth? I don't know if I understand the question. Um, I If I'm interpreting it correctly, I do think that you probably have to think about things in order to figure out if they're true. Most of the time, you do. But I think truth is important, but truth is not the only important thing. Also, just like peace is also important, and joy, and sometimes it might be, you might consider sacrificing truth for peace. But it's a case by case basis kind of thing. Favorite type of girl? Um, I mean, I'm pretty open to a lot of different types of people, but as long as they're nice. I assume you mean in the sense of dating and not just like in general, but I like nice people. I like um I don't know, in terms of like a physical attractiveness, I really don't have a specific type. Like I like them all really. I'm a big fan of women. But in terms of someone that I actually date, like I just want them to be kind, really. That's like the only thing. And you know, like honest. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack pretty much shaped my musical taste for the rest of my life, along with some of sports game soundtracks. Oh yeah, the Tony Hawk games introduced me to a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't even would have never listened to. I think Tony Hawk is the first time I listened to Rage Against the Machine. I could be wrong about that, but I can't think of a time I listened to him before that. Do you personally think that anything at all will ever come from pressure over the Epstein files? I feel like we could scream about it for the next 100 years and it wouldn't change a thing. I have no idea. We're living in weird times where it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I would not be surprised if nothing comes from it. Because we live in a world where shitty people thrive. So yeah. But I don't know. I try not to make predictions about the future of politics because every time I've done that, I've been wrong. Hello, today's my wedding day, courthouse wedding. Do you have any advice for newlyweds? Well, congratulations on your wedding. I don't know if I'm the best person to ask because I've never been married before. Um, but general relationship stuff is just make sure you're always open and communicate. Um, I think I don't know. There's this like I see a lot of married couples that even though they're married, they still like behave like high school people and they just play games with each other and they're never like honest with each other. And there's like memes where you know maybe it's just a meme, I don't know, but there's a lot of memes about how married couples are always like talking past each other and never saying what they think out loud. And that seems bad. And you probably know this already, but relationships are things that you have to work on forever. They don't you can't just assume that it's going to work out. Or that seemed like overly pessimistic. It as long as you know, try to work on it, then it will probably work, but you actually have to put effort into it. I think a lot of people get married because they're like in love and they think they're like meant to be together and everything's going to be happily ever after, but I think you have to constantly put in work, even sometimes when you don't feel like it. That's how I feel about AI. I don't like it, but I keep coming back even though it makes me feel bad. I think it's designed to be addictive and hack your brain and human tendencies. Yeah, I think we all kind of do things here and there that are sort of our guilty pleasures or whatever, but I think it's good to be thoughtful about what you're doing. Think about why you do the things you do and if they're actually like enriching your life. What's your last meal? I don't know. I mean, I assume it would just be my favorite food, so it'd be like chicken fingers and shrimp fried rice and a medium rare steak and a birthday cake, something like that. Sorry if this comes across as weird, but growing up as a white Hispanic guy throughout my teens, I didn't really find black women attractive. But once I hit my 20s, that changed once you see someone. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit weird to be like just across the board all people in a group are unattractive because you haven't met everybody in that group. And I think attractiveness is more than just like what they look like at the moment you see them. And also, a lot of people that we find physically attractive go through a lot of work to make themselves physically attractive. Um, but yeah, I think you should always be open. I think if you do like, I think there's nothing wrong with having preferences. I think people have preferences, and you can't necessarily help what you do or do not find attractive. But it is worth it to think about why you find certain people attractive and other people unattractive. And I don't necessarily need to get too deep with that, but it can get there are like there are social and political reasons why certain people are usually considered more attractive than other people. Communication is key. Today is actually our 6-year dating anniversary, so it was really serendipitous for the ceremony today. Oh, cool. So you've been together for 6 years. That's a good sign to me. Like, seems like seems like you guys get along and like being around each other. I feel like if you haven't gotten sick of them yet, then you probably won't. But you never know. Still gotta, I would still say, put in the work to make sure everything stays good. But yeah, 6 years is a long time. I'm sure you're very comfortable with each other at this point. I realize the older you get, the well, I mean, I think everybody knows this, but the older you get, the faster time goes by. So like, even if you date someone for like a year, like it's very common for someone to date for people to like date for like a year and then get married, and then a year is a lot of time, but it goes by so fast, and I feel like you still like barely even know the person after 1 year. Which is not to say that it's bad to get married after a year, but um, it's different than 6 years for sure. Do you like Warhammer 40K and or Evangelion? I don't know much about Warhammer 40K. I've never played it. I had a friend that was really into it, or I have a friend that was really into it. So I've heard a little bit about like the lore behind it, which sounds insane. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I would like to play the tabletop game. I know there's video games too. Maybe I'll try one of those out, but I'm interested in trying the tabletop game someday. Uh, Evangelion, assuming you're talking about the anime, I've seen it. I just found it very like confusing and weird. But it has the the ending theme to Evangelion is a banger. Or maybe the intro theme is what I'm thinking of, or both. It's been a while since I've seen Evangelion. Though I should maybe give it another try. I watched it like maybe in high school, college at the latest. I can't get my friends to play Warhammer though. They don't seem interested. We play D&D all the time, and they don't seem interested in just the uh the wargaming aspect. When I feel like the battles are like half the fun of D&D, and Warhammer 40K is just all about is like the battles but even deeper, but I don't know, they seem to not be interested. How come my butt crack itches extremely bad even though I wash it thoroughly? I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why that could happen. You might want to go get it looked at. You know, it could be an anal fissure, or it could just be hair. But yeah, if it doesn't go away, I suggest you speak with your doctor. I'm curious on your take of '90s black sitcoms. Do you feel like they didn't get their due respect and recognition they should have? Um, in some cases, yeah, but I think some of them did get some pretty big recognition, and it kind of depends on which shows you're talking about. Like Family Matters is obviously a big example. That show was extremely popular. Fresh Prince was extremely popular. Martin was really popular back in the day. So a few of them did get their respect. I think there are a few that probably should have gotten more respect. Uh, I think Living Single was pretty popular, but it wasn't anywhere near as popular as the other ones that I mentioned. And that was a really good show. I think should have got more respect. Um, but the thing about sitcoms, and this is not just black sitcoms, but just sitcoms in general, there was such an oversaturation of sitcoms in the '90s, and I think a lot of them were just pretty mid. And I think that just includes the black sitcoms. Like, I'm glad that people got a chance to be on TV and get work, but a lot of those shows I think were just not that great. And I'm not saying it's not because they were black shows, because I say the same thing about the other shows, but um, there was only a few of them that I think were like just truly excellent. They were fine, they were fun to watch. I watched most of them, I'm sure, but there's just like too many shows. Have you read The Demon You Know by Charles M. Blow? I have not. Is mud wet dirt or is dirt dry mud? I would lean towards mud being wet dirt. If faster than light space travel was invented tomorrow, would it be a net benefit or burden for humankind? Could it increase or decrease wealth disparity? Um, it really depends on your interpretation of time travel, because I don't know that if time travel is possible, I think the only possible way that would work is the many universes type of situation. I don't think there would be just a single timeline. Um, but in terms of like just traveling the galaxy and stuff like that, Star Trek style, um, it would probably just be bad for the universe because we just go war with other people and try to steal their resources. That's what all the movies predict, and they're right. Um, the only interesting thing to me about faster than light travel is the possibility of time travel. But it probably wouldn't help because I think you would just be sent to a different dimension or a different timeline. Is butt legs? No, butt is butt and legs is legs. Do you think you'll mostly be sticking with network television shows from the 90s, or do you think you'd get into cable and streaming shows for analysis? I mean, I'm open to any kind of show. Um, I did I did Schitt's Creek, which was I think it was a cable and then a streaming show. But yeah, I'm open to any show. The only thing that hesitates me in terms of doing a show is, will people care about this show? And the thing about it is, most of the shows that people care about were popular shows that were on network TV. But I'm open to other ones for sure. Which classic live action sitcom would make the best Simpsons style arcade beat me up game? Beat 'em up game. I don't know what you consider a classic, but I think It's Always Sunny would be perfect for that. The Office. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't made a The Office beat 'em up game of some kind. Thank you, good analysis. I remember listening to one of the co-stars of George Lopez show and why they got canceled. Reason is because of too many shows competing for the same time slot. Yeah, there was just too many shows. But that was like a cash cow. By the time the 80s hit, these networks realized that people loved sitcoms, and so they just kept making them and they kept greenlighting them. There are a lot of very rich people who just made a bunch of sitcoms. George Lopez was a great show, by the way. I liked that show a lot. Speaking of Star Trek, you've had a few weeks. Have you finished DS9 yet? Nope, haven't started. I have. There's a channel that there's like a podcast that um that talks about Star Trek that I listen to clips of sometimes. So I've been exposed to DS9, but I haven't watched. In the postseason baseball, Phillies pitcher Orion Orion Kirkering made an ugly error that cost the Phillies season to end. Has there ever been a sports blunder that made you feel horrible for the player? A sports blunder. Hmm. I don't know. I'm trying to think of if there's any like crazy blunders that I can think of. I know. I don't know. I can't think of anything that crazy. I mean, I'm not the most avid sports fan, but you know, I watch sports here and there. I know when I went to the University of Alabama, which is a big football school, as you may know, and we had a kicker there that was like not that good. um, and I think he missed a lot of key kicks, and I always felt bad for him. Like he missed a few kicks that maybe could have won some games that we lost. But it wasn't like this like huge blunder because when I was there, the team wasn't good in general. So it's not like he was like blowing games that we were expected to win. But I remember they used to go hard on him because he wasn't that good of a kicker, field goal kicker. Schitt's Creek was the product of National Public Television, the CBC. My tax dollars paid for those jokes. God damn it. Well, your tax dollars are appreciated because that's one of my favorite shows of all time. Can you talk about more about what you mean by sacrificing truth for peace or joy? Um, yeah, I mean, I it used to be it just used to be so important to me to be right and to make sure that other people understood that I was right and to make other people understand when they were wrong. And I just don't really care about that as much anymore. Um so like I don't know, I mean you can sort of imagine a situation where it's just like the situation of like if someone I don't know, like for example, I went bowling with a friend not too long ago. Um and he was trying to figure out he didn't understand how the scoring works. He was like, I don't understand why if you get all strikes is 300. And I was like trying to explain it to him like cuz if you get a strike, it's 10 plus your next two frames. And he was like, "No, this I I forgot what he said. I think he said a strike is worth 30 points or something like that. Basically, he said something that I knew was wrong. um, but and I was like, "Are you sure about that?" Because he's like, "I don't know, maybe I'm wrong." But I was like 99% sure he was wrong. And I was like, are you sure about that?" And he was like, "I'm positive. I'm 100% sure." And I decided in that moment I was not gonna argue with this guy. I was just gonna continue enjoying our fun bowling night because it did matter. Like when I was 16, I would have argued with him probably to the point of us getting mad and not enjoying the night anymore. But I chose peace and joy instead of truth in that moment. Obviously, that's a pretty low stakes example, but you can extrapolate from that maybe there are other examples that you could do. If you want a DS9 taster, watch episodes The Visitor and Far Beyond the Stars. I defy you to not get hooked. I mean, I would be surprised if I don't like it because I love Star Trek in general. I've heard that it's a different vibe than TNG, which I'm used to, which is interesting because just at a first glance it looks very similar. Like it looks like the same show almost, but apparently it's a different vibe, which I'm interested to learn more about. I guess I'm thinking of personal truth. Like, do you ever let go of your own search for answers? Um, I don't know. I think it's it's kind of just a vague idea. I don't when you say like personal truth, I don't know if that's what I don't think I would use the word truth there. Like what's important to you is not necessarily what is true. But no, I wouldn't say that I give up the things that I care about and what's important to me. But part of what you're calling my personal truth is the pursuit of peace and joy. So um I don't necessarily make a distinction there. Star Trek is a trek to the stars. In DS9, they've arrived and might not have enough wood for winter. TNG is about the Federation at its best. DS9 is about the Federation at the margins. Real people who aren't perfect in an environment that's not ideal. That's interesting. Sorry to keep talking about it. I just think if you like TNG, you love DS9. That's what everybody says. I've had multiple people tell me that DS9 is superior to TNG. And I'm sure that I would like it, but it's nothing against Deep Space Nine. I just don't watch a lot of stuff in general. If I'm watching a program, it's usually um, something I'm researching for a video, which means maybe I should do a video about Star Trek. And I don't think I would want it to be, the same as TNG anyway. So I'm glad that it's different. Nana Visitor plays Major Kira Nerys on DS9. I don't know what any of those words mean. Deep Space Nine is good, but I like Babylon 5 better. I've never seen Babylon 5 either. I think Star Trek The Next Generation is really the only legit sci-fi show that I have seen a lot of. Because I think the only reason I really got into TNG is because I used to watch it with my dad when I was a kid. And just from there fell in love with it and, just caught it any time I could after that. But I never really felt super like interested in anything else. Do you ever watch Steve Shives? He's always blabbing about Trek. I do watch Steve Shives. I'm a I'm a I was gonna say we're friends, but I mean it's not like we like hang out or talk a lot, but we're friendly. I speak to him every now and then. And yeah, he is a Star Trek fan. How do you still have faith in humanity? A woman on TikTok today told me all women are toxic. A friend shared a story about getting cheated on and being told to kill himself. What percentage of people are thumbs up, I guess? Um Bold of you to assume that I have faith in humanity. No, I think I like George Carlin's take on this. I love individuals. Individuals, every individual is interesting. Um, if you can sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with just about anyone, it will be fascinating, and you can see like their heart and what they care about. And obviously, some people are evil, and some people have, you know, given up their whole soul to darkness, basically. But in general, I think individuals I love, but people, groups of people are terrible. And unfortunately, we are almost always in groups, whether it be on social media or, in a comment section or, at a rally or something. Um, and because of that, I think humans are screwed, really. I don't think we are like I think there is maybe some potential future version of humanity, like maybe a 3 or 4 generations from now, that has sort of evolved beyond all of our biases and have learned to be a little more cooperative. But this current batch of humans, this ain't it. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a good time and that we can't still be kind to each other, because like I said, individuals, everyone is everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants just to be happy and comfortable and safe and have nice things. And I think most people want that. But once we get into groups, and once some charismatic convincing person convinces us that the other man is our enemy, that's when everything goes to hell. And I don't see that ending. Major Kira Nerys is a terrorist who won the war and now needs to learn to win the peace. Great character. Interesting. Of course, I have no context, but I do like a good character. I do like a complex character. I used to be a lot more like that too. Today's political climate is putting that to the test again, but it's definitely nice to feel more mellow about such things over time. We've got brains wired to care about the people in front of us, trying to navigate in a world where we're exposed directly to literally the entire planet. Let's call it a growth phase. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we survive the growth phase. I'm sure somebody will survive. It seems like humanity just kind of lives in cycles. And we might just be on a downturn right now, but maybe they'll pick it up later. How seriously or unseriously do you think we should take our lives? I mean, it kind of depends on what you mean by seriously. I don't. Like. What I would say is I don't think people should take themselves too seriously. I think most people take themselves way too seriously. But the thing is, when I say unserious, I don't mean like nihilism. I think some people might interpret it to be just like, just don't give a shit about anything. But that's not really what I mean. Like I still think we should like take care of each other and take care of ourselves, and you know, try not to cause harm to ourselves, others, and the world. But you got to realize that we're just fucking organisms on a rock in the universe, and you know, we're here for a very short time, and in the long run, it's like it doesn't matter. Like in the long run, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You know, in the long run, it doesn't matter how many times you get laid. It's fine to get money and it's fine to get laid, but just realize it doesn't matter that much. And again, I think we could do that if we could cooperate. But we don't cooperate, so like, should we treat life like a long dream? I think we should, but we can't because that requires cooperation. And we're bad at cooperating. Like, I think humans can come together and cooperate at very rare moments. Like we're clearly capable of it, but we're bad at doing it consistently. Because all it takes is one or two charismatic people, or all it takes is, you know, murmurs in the crowd. It's like, hey, I didn't like that, and then now 10 people didn't like that, and now 100 people didn't like that, and now it's spread way beyond it needed to spread. And I don't know. I don't like being like pessimistic, because I think there's still an opportunity to make the most of your life and better yourself, and you know, help your community and help your friends and family and things like that. And I think we should do that. But realistically, there's just too much going on, you know, like, like here in America, we've got basically like Hitler 2.0 happening. And that sucks, but like, even if we defeat that, like, even if we defeat everything that's going on, after that, people still have to like go to work and shit. You know, it's still not what we should be doing, you know, but it's still, we should still try to make our lives as good as we can. We should still fight for a happy life. I have faith in humanity. It's horrible at times. When you zoom out, history has been 30,000 years of us slowly and painfully dragging ourselves in the right direction. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, kinda. I mean, I would. That's true in general. I don't want to like pretend that that's not true, but then we have like, for example, it is crazy to me. Like if you compare, and it's so like cringe to say because it sounds made up, but like what's happening right now in America is so frighteningly similar to what happened in Germany in the 1930s. It's like almost like word for word. I think they're like literally copying the Nazis. And it's like crazy that we're seeing the same thing happen again and just letting it happen. And that's why I get like a little bit it's like we move forward a little bit and then we just take 10 steps back. And I guess the trend is to move forward and hopefully that trend continues. But I just fear that one day one of those steps back is just going to be too big of a step back. But, like I said, I think that there's probably a future version of the human race that has figured all this stuff out. Um and so, let's try to pave the way for that. I don't know that it's going to be our generation though. I worry that mind reading and mind control technology will lead humanity to a dark age. I mean, I don't really know anything about that. I know that that I've seen things where they can like create images based on brain waves, and it's like really crazy how they can almost like visualize your thoughts. But I'd have to see where the technology is going. I don't want to like preempt something that hasn't happened yet. Thoughts on Donnie Darko? I like that movie. It's one of those movies that I think like everybody my age saw in college, and it was supposed to be like this really like deep movie that college kids thought was like really deep. And then you watch it again, and it's like, you know what? I still like it. that didn't that wasn't true for all the movies that I watched in college. It's a little bit kind of I don't know the word, pretentious maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say pretentious. It's a little like art filmy, I guess, but I like it. You can have hope. You can hope for something greater. Design what you wish to be there in your mind and hope it to be. Oh no, it's our generation. I just haven't published yet. Are you about to write something that's going to change the world? I don't know. My way of dealing with this, like I never want to be nihilistic, and I'm trying not to sound like a bummer. I feel like I sound like a bummer, but um my goal is just to try to spread positivity and continue to be kind to people and to try to show compassion to people and try to see the beauty in individuals when I can. I'm trying to do some character design. What's a video game that has actually good black hairstyles? A video game with good black hairstyles. Um, I don't know. I have trouble thinking. Um, I don't know. I can't think of anything. That's like one of the problems with video games is that they don't have good black hairstyles. There are there are some decent hairstyles in Baldur's Gate 3. Not a whole lot, but there's a few decent ones. Um I want to say that there's actually a lot of decent hairstyles in Street Fighter 6 in the character creator. But yeah, I can't even think of anything. I don't know. There's probably something out there, but I don't know. They have EEGs that hook up to a neural network that can also pull words from your mind once trained, could eventually be developed for interrogation and thought police. ID explored in Avatar 2. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, it's hard to. I don't. I don't. I don't. We have to see how the technology. Like people have been freaked out about new technologies since the dawn of humanity. So I don't want to like overreact before we see how it works. What has been bringing you joy these days? Um, D&D with my friends. That's like my favorite thing to do. Watching football with the homies on Saturdays. Um, ice cream sandwiches. I bought some ice cream sandwiches. I hadn't had them in maybe years, and I forgot how delicious they are. And honestly, making YouTube videos is I've been having fun making YouTube videos lately. So those are a few things. Donnie Darko came out at that time where movie songs, games didn't hold our hand as much, let people figure it out themselves. I guess that's true. I mean, I don't like being confused at movies. So that's a very thin line. I don't need my hand to be held, but also some movies are just like weird and confusing on purpose, which I hate. But I think Donnie Darko was like right on the borderline of that. Like the first time I saw it, I definitely had no idea what the hell was going on. But you watch it a couple times, and you start to get it. You're like, oh, the thing fell in his room and it went through a wormhole. I get it. Do you think the U.S. could have a three-party system? I mean, it could. I don't think that's gonna happen though because um, I highly doubt that any Republican or Democrat is going to seriously um change the two-party system because the two-party system benefits the two parties that are, you know, that run it. So they have no incentive to change it. It's kind of a really messed up catch 22. But we could. in in some alternate universe, and we should. I mean, we should have more than 3 parties. We should have a bunch of parties. Don't worry about being a bummer. We're here to hear what you think, not to have rainbows blown in our rear. Yeah, I feel you, but I just don't want to be a bummer. This personally, I don't want to be a bummer because I think that's just not what I want to give out into the world. Um, yeah, I mean, I was gonna say it doesn't help, but I think there's room for everything. I just don't that I don't think that's my purpose. I think everybody has kind of a different purpose, especially people that have platforms. I don't have the largest platform, but I have a kind of a platform. And when you have a platform, you kind of have to decide what you're going to do with that platform. And I don't think being a bummer is what I want to do with mine. You must have some good friends to be able to enjoy a game of D&D without arguments and power tripping like groups I've been in. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I'm basically lucky because I convinced all of my best friends to play with me. So literally, I'm playing with my best friends and my brother, who is also one of my best friends. So, um, these are just people that we just all get along and love each other. And every now and then there's disagreement, but we've been playing for almost like 10 years now, and we've never had any really big blow ups or arguments. And I feel bad for people who have negative D&D groups and negative. I have been in other groups that imploded and didn't go so well. So I've experienced it to some extent, but my main group is chill. And I feel very lucky because I know that not everybody gets to have that. Mayo or Miracle Whip? Definitely mayo. Miracle Whip tastes weird. Like it's okay if that's all you have, but I don't know. Mayo's better. Watching the Jays knock out the Yankees has been bringing me joy these days. That's what's up. I am not a baseball guy whatsoever, but I recognize that a lot of people love baseball. True, Donnie Darko only makes sense if you watch the director's cut with the page transitions. Interesting. I had to watch it maybe three or four times before I felt like I understood what happened, which is fine. Um, I think that's. I mean, it's honestly good as long as it's not annoying that you have to watch it again. Like if a movie or anything makes you like, I need to watch that again. I think that's a good thing. Like honestly, I think most pieces of media should probably be watched multiple times because you're always gonna notice things the next time you watched it. What was your worst relationship? Worst relationship. Um, I don't know if I can say this without talking about people, which I don't really want to talk about other people. But most of my relationships that were bad because of me, or at least primarily because of me. So I don't really feel comfortable like talking about other people, um, especially because there's a chance that maybe some of them might be watching the stream. I'm lucky in that I am still friends with almost all of my exes. But um earlier in the stream I was talking about how I used to be kind of a smartass who thought he was smarter than everyone. And that kind of goes into why my relationships were often didn't work out. Um yeah. I like I used to like really be really good at taking people for granted basically. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned in life is never take people for granted. Never assume that just because someone is here now that means that they're always going to be there. And um like if you want someone to stay, you have to give them reasons to stay. And if you don't do that, you shouldn't be surprised if they don't stay. Favorite go-to dinner? Box mac, ham and cheese. I've been eating a lot of burritos lately. I've been meal prepping burritos. They're just really quick and easy. Apparently, Trump has been invited to John Cena's last match. We really can never have nice things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Triple H and WWE in general are like cozying up to Trump. They don't want no smoke with Trump, so they're trying to be nice to him because anyone who's not nice to him gets targeted. If anything, you give me a spark of hope for humanity. You strike me as a really genuine guy with a good heart. I appreciate the kind words. I'm trying to be a genuine guy with a good heart. So for a long time, it felt like everyone loved T Swift, but now there's some discourse about her. What's up with that? Is that is there discourse about her? I don't know. I don't know anything about the discourse about her. Didn't she make a song about sex or something that people were talking about, or like I don't know. I don't know the discourse. I'm out of the loop on that one. May I have one of your burritos? Sure. Come get it. You can come get it. No, actually, don't come get it. I changed my mind. Trump's been tied at the hip with WWE forever, even before his political career. I mean, he's been associated with the WWE, and I think he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. But I don't know if I would say he's been tied to the hip with WWE. I mean, I guess he, um, at least definitely during his political career. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he was like friends with the McMahons. But yeah, I don't know. The thing about it is, if it was Vince McMahon, that would make a lot of sense. But Vince, as far as I know, is not in charge of the WWE right now. And with Triple H and Nick Khan and everybody in charge, I have generally liked it more, and they seem to be treating their wrestlers better and things like that. So it seems like it's going in a positive direction. But then you see stuff like the stuff with Trump, and they're like going super hard on the Saudi Arabia stuff. So at the end of the day, they're still about that money. I tried deep frying chicken tenders in oil at home for the first time and set off the smoke alarm. Know how to oven bake fried chicken. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, you can just do it the same way. You can just bread it the same way and put it in the oven, and it will kind of work. Um, it won't have the same sort of juicy. What I would say is, you should, if you really want it to be good, you should brine the chicken, like marinate it in like salt water, or you can use a different marinade if you want. Like do that shit overnight, and then you can bread it the same way you would normally. You'll have to figure out the times. I don't know the correct timing and temperature. And it will be inferior to oil fried chicken. It just there's just no way to make it as good, but it can still work. You can also buy just like the bake. um you can buy the mixture like for baking breaded chicken. Linda McMahon says education czar. Yeah, which I didn't know that much about Linda McMahon, but after seeing her like be interviewed, or not interviewed, but like questioned, it's like, good lord, because she seemed like a normal person back in the day. She just seemed like a normal lady, but now she's kind of whack. Do you play any instruments? What would you if not? I don't really play any instruments. I used to try. I used to say that I was going to try to learn the guitar, and I learned a few chords and stuff, and maybe like two songs that are easy to play. But I wouldn't say that I play the guitar or that I am good at playing the guitar. I think that if I could play any instrument, the ones that I would pick would be guitar, the piano, and the saxophone. Those are the three coolest instruments. Have you ever enjoyed a bit of trolling, T1J? What is it about the human spirit that makes mischief fun? Um, I don't know. I've never been much of a troll. I get too self-conscious and guilty. But I think people just like people people just like doing things that are taboo. I don't exactly know why. I guess it's just a thrill. It's just thrilling to do things that you're not supposed to do. I don't necessarily know if there's like an evolutionary reason behind that, but I think it's just related to the sort of like thrill of taboo. Thoughts on Pereira sending Ankalev to the Shadow Realm? I don't know what that is. Oh, is this an MMA thing? Yeah, I didn't watch that. I don't really keep up with MMA. For me, you're far from a bummer. You're a light of reason, humor, lots of good sense, and the kindness you believe so strongly in. Well, that's good. I appreciate that. I mean, that's what I'm going for. So I'm glad that it's noticed. I just think everything would be better if people were just a little bit kinder to each other. I feel like that's not that crazy to say. I think that people think that compassion is like lame. It's not like, it's the opposite of what we were just talking about. The mischief. It's not mischievous. It's not exciting to be kind. And also, it's hard sometimes. Like, it's hard to show compassion to people sometimes because people can be the worst. WWE on-screen product has been better than with Vince in charge, but it has been notoriously awful when it comes to price gouging and expectation of fan loyalty. Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing more of that more recently. It's like I think the first few months after Vince left, it was like the best it had been in a long time. And I think it has just kind of slowly kind of on a downward trend since then. I honestly think they might get a reckoning in the form of people not giving them money. Um, but we'll see if that's the case. Like the fact that you have to have Netflix and ESPN. Is Raw still going to be on Netflix, right? And then you have to have some form of cable, right, to watch SmackDown. I know a lot of people are like upset about that ESPN deal for sure. And also, they announced that fucking WrestleMania 2026 is in Saudi Arabia, which is so cringe. Holy moly! The Saudi Arabia stuff is like, it's really like conflicting because I get the argument that if you bring things like this towards them, then it like just shows their community that you know there's a better way to live. But I don't know, man. It's like it's blood money. Yeah, why is it thrilling to do things you're not supposed to do? Can we dig deeper into that? I really don't know. I've actually never thought about that. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure someone has. I'm sure there's um some kind of study on that. Why is wait? How should I phrase this? Why is taboo thrilling? I guess. Apparently, well, there's. I mean, obviously, none of this is like scientific, but the idea of adding an obstacle to a desire makes increases the fulfillment of doing it. It's like related to that in some way. I don't know. I'd like to look into that. What's on your shirt? My shirt says "That's just me," though. Some of you might have been around long enough to know what that means. That used to be a thing that I said in my videos, but I haven't really said it in a long time. UFC is too MAGA. I used to love it, but I haven't been able to watch for a while. Don't know why American companies can't just keep their stupid politics out of their shit. They get political on UFC? I didn't know that. At least WWE isn't overtly political. But I would imagine that probably most of the people who work for WWE are probably closer to being left wing. But I guess I shouldn't say that. You never know. But that would be my guess because they got a lot of young people now, and also a lot of people who aren't white. uh, if the past is infinite, would that mean we have no ultimate origin? Any origin could be supplanted by a further previous cause ad infinitum. Well, the past isn't infinite, right? The past started, time started at the Big Bang, right? Have you seen Banana Ball? It's like baseball with rules, improvements, and dancing. Oh, I have seen that. It looks awesome. It's like Harlem Globetrotters except baseball. Although I think the banana, the bananas are like, it's actually like a real game. It's not like a staged game like Globetrotters, if I'm not mistaken. Top three movies. Top three movies. I don't know if I can do the top three. Usually when people ask my favorite movies, I just like rattle off a bunch of them. So there's like Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, Terminator 2, The Matrix, um Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Rush Hour. One of those. Pick three of those. It's not thrilling to do something that you're not supposed to do when that thing is like put your hand on the stove. I don't know. I disagree. The first time you do it is, but you learn very quickly that you shouldn't do that. The thrill comes from the short-term gain that you get. The reason society typically says you shouldn't do whatever you're doing is because there's a long-term gain. Now, when we were kids, we used to do a bunch of dumb shit that was harmful to ourselves that we had to learn was harmful. But it was definitely thrilling the first time. Naruto or Bleach? I've never seen Bleach. I've seen a lot of Naruto though, and I really liked it. Everyday people in Saudi Arabia, like anywhere else, should be allowed to enjoy what Western entertainment has to offer. It's just that we shouldn't have to support the Saudi regime to do it. Yeah, absolutely. I think if WWE or comedians or whoever, if they chose to go there and perform, or if they wanted to support a local business in Saudi Arabia, I think that's completely different than the literal government doing that. Like even in America, if the Trump administration um hosted a comedy show, I would think that was super cringe. um and it's and it's just particular. The Saudi Arabia is a very specific choice because the Saudi Arabian royalty be wildin'. They be doing some shit. Um, but in this day and age too, you have to think like so. People say like everybody has a price. I don't know if that's true, but you do have to think about stuff like that. Like that's what like a lot of these comedians. People are like mad at these comedians that went to that Saudi Arabia show, but like they were probably offered some pretty serious, if not life changing money. I know some of them are already like mega rich. There's like Bill Burr and like Dave Chappelle, but not all of them were that level. And if you like, let's say you're a touring comedian, you make like $100,000 a year, which is probably many of them. You can obviously make a decent living off of that, but then Saudi Arabia offers you like $650,000 to come perform. You really got to consider that, I guess, especially if you got like a family and shit. But at some point, your values have to come into play, in my opinion. Like even with me, I mean, obviously, I've never been offered that much money for anything, but I get emails literally every day of people asking me to promote their shit in my videos. And sometimes they offer I don't know if y'all like realize how much money these brands be offering YouTubers. Like it's often like silly amounts of money. Um but sometimes it's like very clearly a scam or it's just something that I don't I don't care to push. I've never had like a moral quandary like Saudi Arabia, but like I don't know. Let's just say if you ever see a Raid Shadow Legends ad on my channel, just know that they gave me a unforgivable amount of money because I don't really want to promote that. Not that there's anything wrong with the game. It's just I don't know. It's like those like mobile games are literally just fancy ways of funneling money away from people. It's wild. Anyway, if you accept that the Big Bang was the start of time, does that imply a first event which itself had no cause? Possibly. Now we're getting into levels of cosmology that I don't really understand, but I have heard the argument that things do not have to have a cause in order to begin. I've heard very, very smart people argue that. Did you play basketball in high school? And if so, what position? I played point guard, but I was kind of bad. I I didn't play in high school, so I played. The only time I played organized basketball was in eighth grade. I was I was like a forward, like a small forward, power forward. In eighth grade, I was actually one of the taller kids, but I kind of stopped growing after that. I was okay. I was more of a defensive player. I would say that I was an okay player. I averaged maybe like 2 points a game, but I was really good at defense and blocking shots and rebounds and stuff like that. And I tried out for the basketball team in high school, But like I said, I stopped growing. I was like I basically stopped growing at about 5'11". Um and I had the skills of a rebounder and a defensive player. And at 5'11" in high school, that's just not going to cut it. So, and I just like I couldn't shoot, I couldn't dribble, so I couldn't be a point guard, which would be the only position I could really play at that height. So, I tried out, but I didn't make the team, and then I sort of gave up on it after that. Math, science, history, unraveling the mystery. It all started with the Big Bang. Big Bang. Um, Overhated show, by the way. A lot of people hate that show. It's fine. Everybody needs to relax. It's fine. I can guess why the majority of the people in sports slash pro wrestling industry are conservative. Sports is one of the only industries where the idea of meritocracy is kind of true. Yeah, I I I I get that. But honestly, and it's funny you say that because ironically, sports is also one of the industries where simply being born the right way gets you ahead. Being born in the right situation gets you ahead. So it's an interesting sort of paradox while also kind of still ended up being a metaphor for how the world is. Do you have any links to someone arguing that things don't need a cause to begin? I don't know about a link. I think I heard it. Who's that guy? I forgot his name. He's like a famous cosmologist or astro guy. I have to hold on. I need to remember the guy's name. um do you know what I'm talking about? He's like kind of famous. He's not like, but he's, you know, he kind of has like a weird voice. He kind of talks like Kermit the Frog a little bit. Not Carl Sagan, but a guy that's like alive now. Um what's his name? I don't even know what to search for. I think he's a physicist. Anyway, that's the guy I saw do it. Um Wait, hold on. Yeah, I saw a debate with it was like a debate about the existence of God, and it was William Lane Craig, cuz that's his favorite argument for the existence of God is the cosmological argument, which one of the premises of that argument is that everything that begins must have a cause. And he was debating the guy that I'm thinking of, but I can't find it. But if you just search like cosmological argument debate, you'll probably find some people that are arguing that very thing, because that is sort of the premise of that argument. It's not Richard Dawkins who I'm thinking of, but it's possible that he had this debate. Wait, I think. Hold on. Sean Carroll is the guy I'm thinking of. Sean Carroll. He's a theoretical physicist. So if you can find his debate with William Lane Craig. Or just search Sean Carroll cosmological argument. That's the guy that I've seen talk about it. I don't remember like his exact argument, but yeah. And I've he's like one of the sort of one of the atheist guys that isn't as obnoxious as some of the other ones. So I kind of like really became a fan of his over the years. If you could move out of the U.S. permanently, where would you go? I don't know. I've thought about this. If I could move out of the U.S. Right now, I probably would. But I need to do more research on just what's out there and what it's like in other places. I have interest in a lot of places. I've always been interested in the Scandinavian countries. They seem to have like the interesting social democracy type of shit going on up there. But it seems like it's very cold, and it seems like it's not very diverse, which might be bad. The problem, this is the issue, is that I'm a black dude, and I feel like there's not that many places on Earth where they like black people. But Canada is also a consideration, but a lot of Canadians are like, maybe don't come here because we're kind of taking after what's going on downstairs. I've always been interested in New Zealand. New Zealand seems pretty cool. And then there's a lot of places in South America that I've been interested in, like Brazil, and maybe not Brazil, but like Uruguay, maybe even Panama. My mom's from Panama, and I've heard that Panama has sort of had a glow up over the years. But yeah, I just really don't know. I'm not educated enough on what it's like to be in these countries. What's your stream schedule like? I'm enjoying chatting. Thanks for answering all my silly questions. Yeah, I like answering questions. I have been streaming every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time, so that's what I've been going for. And also, I have been doing a gaming stream on Thursday evenings. But I didn't do it yesterday, but I did it the prior 2 or 3 Thursdays. Currently, I am playing Disco Elysium because a lot of people recommended that I play it, so I've been playing it on stream, which people seem to enjoy. It doesn't seem like the best game to stream because it's basically just like a visual novel for the most part, but people seem to like it because it's one of those games that's like different every time you play it. So watching someone play is always different than how it was when you played. So if anyone's interested in that, you can check me out on Thursdays. But outside of that, I usually do a chill stream like this on Fridays. Fridays, 6 p.m. Central Time. there's a fair share of athletes that will say the cliche saying, "Well, I worked hard for what I accomplished in my life." So if you work hard, yeah, I mean, and to be fair, especially at the pro level, they probably did work hard. Um, you know, I am very inspired by the work ethic of a lot of athletes. Um, but you know, like for example, Kobe Bryant is known for his work ethic. Like that's people say that is, or not people say, it's like clearly part of the reasons why he was so good at basketball is because he would get up at 4 a.m. and go train every day, and he would give up, you know, pleasures in his life so that he could go train basketball. But also he's like 6'7". You know, ain't no ain't no working hard ain't no amount of working hard gonna make me 6'7". And being 6'7" helps you succeed at basketball. Like even Michael Jordan, one of the things a lot of people don't talk about with Michael Jordan is his hands are huge. Like I think they said something like he has some of the biggest hands in the history of basketball or something like that. At least like hand to body ratio, and that helped him do the things that he did. Um, and sure, he worked hard, of course, but also he got lucky. And he was also like 6'6", 6'7", something like that. Or I guess I shouldn't say was because he's still alive, but yeah. Do you think it's wise to try and use the federal do not call list to sue telemarketers in small claims court? What could go wrong? Some have made 60K doing that, but is it ethical to make money suing? Um, I don't know. That seems like such a hassle. Is it even worth it? The thing about telemarketing, and I don't believe in like revenge, but telemarketing is like an inherently scummy industry. So I don't necessarily feel bad about them being sued because they like annoy people for a living. And if you sue them, the thing about it though, like first of all, most when the people who actually call you are probably just people that just needed a job and just took a telemarketing job. So I try to have some compassion towards them. And if you sue them, but the thing is, if you sue the company, it's probably not gonna hurt the individuals that are calling you. I mean, I guess if the company loses money, these people could lose their jobs, but it doesn't seem like it because um there's no like overhead with that. They can just call people all day, and if they make like one sale, then it's worth it. So I don't know. But I mean, I feel like there's so like it just seems like a hassle to just be suing people all the time. Like instead of going through the hassle of like suing people, like learn a marketable skill. Spend that time and like learn the code or something. Learn how to video edit. I'll hire you. I actually don't have enough money to hire people, but one day. I was actually thinking about hiring people to research for me. It'll literally like the job is literally just watch TV, but you have to take notes. Thing about moving outside of the US is that it's one of the only countries in the world that taxes your income regardless of where in the world you reside in, with the exception of denouncing your US citizenship. Yeah, I mean it would probably involve trying to become a citizen of a different country, but you know, if it might be worth it, you know, just depending on the situation. Also, if you don't pay US taxes, are they like going to come arrest you? Like are they really going to like have me arrested in New Zealand for not paying taxes? Is that like do they go that hard? I'm probably gonna close the stream down here in maybe like 15 or so minutes. Just heads up, I'm gonna probably got. Well, I mean, I just got. I've been like ripping and running all day, and I still got more stuff to do. But I wanted to get the stream in. I want to hire a math tutor. I dropped out of college, but I want to go back. I stopped at differential equations. That shit broke me, but now my calculus needs a lot of work. I also dropped out of college. I sometimes think about going back, but I don't really have a good reason to. If it was free, I might like take some classes or something. In the future, if I have like just some extra money, I might like go take some classes. Um, they have like you know like you can watch lectures online sometimes for free, or sometimes for a small fee. Like you can watch like MIT lectures and stuff. I think online for a fee, which is pretty cool. Um, I for my I was an English major at school, and I had to take one semester or maybe 1 year of math, and I took the easiest one that qualified, and after that I was done with math. Um, I still like math, and I kind of feel bad because I feel really dumb about math outside of just basic stuff. But man, math classes, math in school is just not my jam. It's not the move. Do you believe in God? I do not. I'm an atheist for sure. Love your videos. Not quite a sitcom, but have you seen Reservation Dogs? The show absolutely reminds me of my spouse's family. It's funny how well they nail it. I haven't seen that, but I've heard that it's really good. It's on my list. I would like to check it out for sure. I'm sure if you're making millions, the U.S. will go after you, but I'm pretty sure they only tax U.S. citizens that make over 110K annually. Yeah. Well, I probably wouldn't move if I wasn't making over 110K annually. I would need to be in a pretty stable financial situation to consider um, moving to a different country. I feel like that tax law will be changed already if more Americans left the country, like people do in Europe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, laws in America don't always make sense. My four dreams in life are to have a great girlfriend, to do something important in physics, have fun, feel right with myself and my conscience. I back that. That's respectable. Just know that those things are not going to happen on their own. You got to make them happen. Don't just sit around waiting for them to happen. I'm not saying that you're doing that, but that's what a lot of people do with their dreams. They just kind of wait around hoping that something's going to fall in their lap. You got to seek. You got to go and you got to seek. Best non-YouTube job you've had. My favorite job outside of YouTube was when I worked at the library. It was super cool, super chill. And everybody that I worked with was cool. Libraries are dope. You should use your library if you don't already. It's free. What's up, Felon? As a Canadian, I've heard Americans on TikTok how interesting U.S. tax policies can be. Oh yeah, U.S. tax law makes no sense, and it's like intentionally confusing. I don't know if you may have heard about this, but it's confusing and ridiculous on purpose. It's not an accident. It's literally kept confusing so that um, tax uh, so that tax assistant tax what's the term, so that like companies that help you do your taxes can continue to make money. They literally lobbied the government to keep taxes confusing. I thought about the idea of moving abroad, but I know it would feel guilty to leaving my family and friends. Yeah, I mean, I feel that the thing about it is the older you get, the more that feeling goes away because you start seeing your friends a little less. Um, it's sad to say, but like your family members might start passing away after a while. And the older you get, it's just like, man, it's not really that big a deal if I leave. You're still gonna miss people. You're still gonna not see people, but yeah, it gets. You think about that sort of thing more as you get older. You have a favorite non-U.S. sitcom? I mean, I guess I have to say Schitt's Creek, which is a Canadian sitcom. I haven't really experienced a lot of non-US sitcoms, which is a little sad because my channel is so heavily US focused that I think I have alienated a lot of my non-US um, audience. I know a lot of the shows that I cover are popular outside of the US, but I know there are a lot of great sitcoms that we probably don't even get in America. As a library technician, can confirm libraries are the best. Absolutely. Shout out to library technicians. I'm 30 and my mom is 71 and my dad is 79 and worry about them passing. They're my anchor. I mean, I feel you. I think we all do. My mom passed a couple years ago. And my dad is in good health, but you know, they're getting up there. And I've only got one living grandparent. Definitely recommend Kim's Convenience. Yeah, that's a show that a lot of people recommend. If you don't mind me asking, how do you cope with their passing? Um, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know if I do cope with it. To be honest, um, it obviously it gets easier over time because you just have to get on with your life. But I do think that you have to let yourself mourn. I think a lot of people feel like mourning is a bad thing or that they shouldn't do, but I think you have to let yourself mourn. And also for me, um, in my particular situation, the thing about it is I like 100% know that my mom would not want me to be moping around all the time and being being sad and you know things like that. I like I know for a fact that she wouldn't want me to do that. And so I just try to keep that in mind. But, you know, sometimes it's just you just don't think about it really. Feel that 100% as someone whose grandmother passed this year. Yeah. It's a part of life and it becomes more a part of your life the older you get, which sucks. But, you know, it's a part of life so like we've got to figure out how to deal with it eventually. Am I still live? Okay, I thought my stream messed up. My browser just crashed for some reason. But yeah, I will say this: if it hasn't happened yet, then don't you don't. It's not really. I mean, I guess I can't tell you. I can't force your brain to not think about stuff, but definitely make sure you celebrate people while they're still alive and let them know that they're being celebrated. Make sure they don't pass without knowing how much that you care about them. That's a big thing. Like it's I don't really think it's a thing you should think about, you know, before it happens. But obviously that's easier said than done a lot of the time. All right. Favorite non sitcom genre. I mean, I guess superheroes. I love superhero stuff and I love the Marvel movies. So that would probably be it. But I think on that note, I'm probably gonna end the stream. Yeah, Thunderbolts is really good. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I gotta pee, and I think that's a good thing to end on. Thanks for watching the stream as always. If you would want to make sure you don't miss a stream, make sure you have all notifications enabled on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I'm streaming every Friday at 6 p.m. and I'm gonna try to do a gaming stream every Thursday at 6 p.m. And keep on the lookout. I will have a new video, probably not next week, but probably the week after next. So keep an eye out for that. And just remember to be kind to each other. Be kind, and just treat everybody with respect and compassion. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.